All right, welcome back to week 3 of building a brand to 7 figures in under 1 year. This week we're going to be covering a few things. We're going to be going over why build a brand instead of building a dropshipping store. We're also going to be talking about why we chose our products, how to find manufacturers, and how to negotiate with them. But quick update about the brand. We are having a few little setbacks right now, just making things take a little bit longer than we expected. What's happening is we're kind of shooting for perfection at the moment. We got a sample of the bottles at the beginning and they were just a little bit too orangey red, but we wanted them to be a little darker of a red. And we were expecting to get the samples like within a week or two, but we're going on week 3 right now and they're still not finished. So one thing to keep in mind at the very beginning of the brand, don't shoot for perfection. Start with your minimum viable product, get to market as quickly as possible. So we're having a little bit of a setback there, but we're going to keep things moving. Once we get those in, we're going to place our bulk order. So hopefully we get those within a month. We're also designing the boxes and those are taking a little bit longer than we expected to, but again, we're probably set back an extra month at this point from the very beginning of the brand. So we're not going to be able to launch the product. It's probably September, October time. We were originally wanting to launch everything in August, but things don't come together like they should sometimes. So we're a little bit of a hold up, but we're still trekking the course and doing everything we're supposed to be doing right now. Everything is in line. So yeah, let's jump into it a little bit more. Dropshipping products are quick trends that will go away in a short amount of time. So no one wants to buy that product because first off, it gets super saturated with a bunch of other people that are selling the same product, and you're not going to be able to sell it for a multiple. So the purpose of building a brand is to build wealth over the long term, and it's something that takes time. So you have to accept that at the beginning and know that this is a long game. You want to become profitable as soon as possible so you can live off the income, but you have to know that you're playing a long-term game. The most wealthy people I've met in my life are people that have stuck with one thing for 10 to 20 to 30 years and eventually sell it for a huge amount of money. So make sure that when you're starting a company, you're branding it correctly, you're understanding how to connect with a target audience. The way I look at a brand is you have a subculture of a community in the US. So for example, you have like weightlifters. Now you niche down even further to Christian weightlifters. Okay, let's do female Christian weightlifters, and it's a niche down approach because now you're creating a brand within a subculture. And this subculture is now going to be locked in on your brand and you're going to own that subculture. And so that becomes super enticing to somebody who wants to buy a company. So I would stay away from the drop shipping gimmicky products that are going to run for 3 months and then just completely die out. Build something that's going to be a long-term goal. Now, the second thing is, why did we choose a body wash? And so before I chose the product, I decided to think in my head, what is the perfect product? Like, what would be something that checks all the boxes? And all those boxes are, it has to be a problem-solving product that solves an insecurity. Second off, it has to have good margins. And third, it has to be recurring. It has to be a sticky business, so the lifetime value is big. You don't want a product that someone's going to only buy one time. You want a product that is recurring so you can acquire a customer for more amount of money than your competitors, knowing that if you sell something for $100 and you acquire them for $100, you know that they're going to come back 3 or 4 more times. So that customer is worth $300 to $400 to you. So you don't care about spending $100 at the beginning to acquire them. Now, having good margins allows you to spend more money on advertising as well. So what that does is you can spend more to get more customers. And if you have that plus lifetime value, then you're going to be able to scale the brand much quicker and much faster. And now having a problem-solving product is super important because it has to solve a problem for somebody to have the desire to purchase it. And on top of that, it has to be an emotional problem. And so with the body wash, there's going to be pheromones in it. There's a pain point there that you're not going to be desirable, when you go out if you don't smell good. So it's going to have the best scents as well as pheromones. We're going to be recreating a lot of these super expensive colognes. And so instead of paying $500 for Baccarat Rouge 540, we're going to create a similar scent that you can wear, which is like 1/5 of the cost. And it's also, again, recurring. So people are going to be purchasing it over and over again. And so when I first started thinking about a product, I wanted to check all those boxes and have something that you can brand super well. And so we're going for like that James Bond, Marlboro Man, old vintage vibe that is super popular right now and just has a timeless aesthetic to it. That's the reason why we're coming out with a body wash. And now lastly, when it comes to finding manufacturers for these products, there's a few different ways that you can find these people. First off, you can Google them and you can find domestic manufacturers inside the United States. So for me, if I ever come out with a product that's a consumable product, whether you're putting it on your skin or you're eating it, I want to make it in the US, or I want to make it in the same area that I'm going to be selling the product in. So we're making the body wash. It's going to be formulated in the USA, in LA. So it's going to have all the approvals, like FDA approved, all the certifications that you need for something to be safe for people to use. That way there's less liability. Now, when it comes to packaging and bottles, there's dozens of websites and things, but the best one I like to use is Alibaba. You can go on Alibaba and search for manufacturers. What I recommend doing is searching for the product you want, and then looking at the bottles, and the generic bottles is going to show up. And once you see one that you like, what you can do is, speak to the manufacturer and say, I want to change this a little bit. I want to change that. They're super easy to work with. There's chat boxes in it. It's just like going on Facebook and just messaging somebody, but you're speaking with manufacturers. So if you're looking for bottling and packaging, go to Alibaba, start searching through all these people. I'd pick 2 to 3 manufacturers for the same product. So if you're creating a body wash bottle, you're speaking to 3 different manufacturers and you're getting 3 different samples. And then you get the 3 samples and you choose the best one. It really comes down to price and how easy are they to work with. And when you're talking to these manufacturers, you want to be super thorough. You don't ever want to expect they know what you're talking about. You want to be line by line, every single point. Just make sure that you're letting them know, because you don't want it to be lost in translation. Sometimes the language barrier can be tough. And then when you're negotiating, just know that any price they have labeled up there is not the final price. And they're going to have MOQs. So every manufacturer that you're working with is going to have anywhere between like 1 to 50, or it's going to start at 300, or it starts at 10,000. So it really depends what a manufacturer's MOQ is, and you're just going to have to negotiate with them what the price is going to be after. So let's say, for 300 units with customized labels and everything, it costs, they say, $2 to make. You want to undercut them and just say, no, I'll give you $1, and then they're going to come back, and that's called a price anchor. So you're going to price anchor at $1, and then they're going to come back and no, $1.75, and then you come up to $1.25. But you always want to set your price anchor super low to where they're like, there's no way. But it pulls them down, and then don't be afraid to walk away as well. Say, okay, no problem, it's not going to work for us, and then go to another manufacturer. But at the end of the day, you're going to find somebody to work with, and it just has to make sure that it fits in your margins. And next week, we're going to go through all the business financials. I'm going to show you guys a spreadsheet. I'll give you access to it. You'll be able to plug in all your numbers to see if your business is feasible for, running paid ads and being a company that's profitable in general. So I hope you guys got some value out of this video. And if you guys want to hear anything else, next week, we're going to be running through all the business financials. So I'll show you guys spreadsheets. I'll walk you through everything. But week 3, recap. Things are a little bit slower right now just because we're getting iterations of our samples. So once we solidify those, we place the bulk order, and then we get them filled in the lab. And that's going to take 8 to 10 weeks. But still, I'm confident that we're still on track to do $1 million this year, because once it comes in, it's going to be fast. Once you acquire customers and create that flywheel, everything happens super quick. So within the first 3 months, we'll know if we're going to be able to make $1 million this year. So don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments and I'll answer everything myself. And I'll look forward to talking to you guys next week.